Galilal Malak Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai, Ba Hashem, Rahakodash, double honors to the elders of GMS Ruel, blessings unto those men, and blessings and salutations to the Akim out there in truth, pushing his word in all sincerity. With that being said, Shalom Israel Barakatah. Today's lesson, the rigged system. And let me start off by saying that the monetary system works the same all over the world. It's a corrupt global money system to keep everyone in debt. And this is a debt-based system because this fiat money is not backed by anything. The fiat money in which you have in your pocket is not backed by anything. And when paper money is being printed at a substantial rate and you have an oversupply of currency, which in reality is debt, now that makes the goods go up in value. Hyperinflation. And that is the term used for when inflation gets out of hand. Inflation is described as the rise in prices due to a decline in purchasing power. And inflation is defined as the general increase in prices and the fall in the purchasing value of money. A debt-based system assures the continuation of being a slave. We are yet this day in our captivity, according to the scripture of Baruch 3 and 8. With that being said, let's go over to Micah 6 and 10. Micah 6 and 10. Are there yet the treasures of wickedness in the house of the wicked, and the scant measure that is abominable? And that scant measure is that measure of leanness, meaning that there is nothing there because there is no substance to it. That money that you are getting is not real money. That scant measure is abominable. The scripture of Proverbs 11 and 1 says that a false balance is abomination to the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, but a just weight is his delight. But we are talking about Esau, Edom's society. The earth was given into the hands of the wicked. And he's running it on that left-hand side of the spectrum, that wicked side. The right side is the righteous side, and the left side is the wicked side. And the reason why many people are always in debt is because they pay a debt with a debt. Micah 6 and 11. Shall I count them pure with the wicked balances and with the bag of deceitful weights? And there are deceitful weights everywhere you look. You know, the numbers are being manipulated with everything. Micah 6 and 12. For the rich men thereof are full of violence, and the inhabitants thereof have spoken lies, and their tongue is deceitful in their mouth. Micah 6 and 13. Therefore also will I make thee sick in smiting thee, in making thee desolate because of thy sins. Micah 6 and 14. Thou shalt eat, but not be satisfied, and thy casting down shall be in the midst of thee, and thou shalt take hold, but shalt not deliver. And that which thou deliverest will I give up to the sword. So everything that came upon the nation of Israel throughout history and up to this point will come upon Esau, Edom, and unto those other nations, unto those other heathen nations that have done them wrong, that have done the nation of Israel wrong. With that being said, let's go over to Proverbs 22 and 7. Proverbs 22 and 7. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. It's always been like that, especially in this wicked society. It says this because when you can no longer pay your debts, you end up being the commodity the commodity yourself, when you can no longer pay, that individual basically ends up being a slave himself. In this current rigged system, everyone is in debt. Who is the debt owed to? It's just as it says here. The borrower is servant to the lender. The rich become rich, the poor become poor. When it comes to these modern times, these banking families know this information. They know all the ins and outs. And they also know how to manipulate the system, how to manipulate the money, how to manipulate the numbers. That's why everything goes up and down, up and down. And this happened in ancient times of Egypt. When Joseph was set up, they bought corn with the money they had left. Once the money ran out, then they were forced to sell their material goods, then the animals, and finally ended up selling their lands. And once those things were gone, all they had left was to offer themselves up as servants. That's how ancient Egypt, which means bondage, became great in those times. But it was the Lord's servant Joseph that got Egypt out of great trouble and distress when he interpreted the dreams of Pharaoh. Habakkuk 2 and 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And this scripture speaks of Esau Edom when he is brought down by the great arsenal of the warheads and by the chariots of the Lord Yahushai. Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. The land of America was not his, but yet they took it by force. But now America's debt is spiraling out of control, and many people are taking up parables against America. Thick clay, that speaks of that heavy debt accumulated. We all know that the system is rigged when it comes to the numbers. Why do you think they keep upping the retirement age? Because they want you to remain a slave to the system till the day that you drop. Same thing with a mortgage. By the time you pay it off, you're already dead. But when it comes to this current fiat paper money, it's a false balance because it is not backed by anything of actual value. True money has always been the lands, cattle, gold, and silver, to name a few. Not that worthless paper fiat money that is not backed by anything in these times. Paper money works by the government, issuing IOUs to the banks in the form of bonds. And the system runs off credit. But the global elites want the banks to crash for the reason of the MOTB, CHIP. And many people shall be fooled in taking the MOTB of destruction, because they shall bring up its benefits on what can it do, on what that implementation of charagma can do under the skin. They shall say that it's beneficial in finding lost and kidnapped people in other countries, down to the easy access of payments and of unlocking homes and cars with the greatest of ease. All these things will be said. But the main thing that they will not tell you is that it will cost you your life upon implementation. Once they implant that in you, that is it. Do not take this MOTB of destruction under any circumstances. It will cost you your life. The Lord Yahweh Yahushai will destroy you. Remember, the Lord killeth and maketh alive, according to the scripture of 1 Samuel 2:6. The people owe the money to the Federal Reserve. That's who you owe money to. You owe money to over 100 international banking families that own the Federal Reserve, beginning with the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, etc. down the line. But look at the U.S. national debt clock, for instance. Many people do not even know that it exists and keeps on ticking. Here we have a video clip of the U.S. national debt, as you can see. As you can clearly see here, the U.S. national debt is still climbing and ticking. And the 32 trillion gross federal debt that you see here includes the debt held by the public as well as the debt held by federal trust funds and other government accounts. Here you also have the debt per citizen on how much every individual owes. That's right. The debt per citizen, and the debt per taxpayer. We do not make these things up. These are actual facts. But let's go over to Habakkuk 2:6 and read it once again. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. That thick clay is talking about that heavy debt. They own the people through many different contracts. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians will see the true horns of these devils when they come in great wrath. All those houses bought and all those riches accumulated will soon mean nothing. The system is rigged, especially for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. And that fiat money is worthless currency. Both fiat and representative money are backed by something. And without any backing, they would be completely worthless. I'll tell you what's priceless, what's worth a lot. Wisdom is better than rubies. And it cannot be compared to any riches. Remember, real money is substance, such as land, cattle, gold, silver, etc., and not that Federal Reserve note of government. The dollar will crash, and the system will go digital. And this is worldwide, because the system is connected. And when all your bank accounts are left with zero money, what are you going to do then? And what is also worthless is that temporary digital currency of the CHIP in these modern times. But expect all roads and sectors to lead to the CH to the IP of destruction. What's the sense of gaining the whole world and to lose your own soul, your soul? Let me also say this. Those who fell for the deception of the Med Jews will also fall for the deception of the MOTB CHIP of Revelation 13 and 16. But we warn you, whosoever takes this MOTB CHIP of Revelation 13 and 16 will be destroyed. And this is right around the corner. So you family members and people could scoff away as much as you like. Because that is an actual blessing upon the people who are trying to tell you the truth on what's coming, on what's around the corner. This scripture of Micah 2:10, the scripture of Micah 2:10 has said, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction." Israelites. And when I say Israelites, I'm saying you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Tainos, Native American Indians, and Israelite foreigners of the same lineage and bloodline. Depart from among the overall ways and philosophies of the world and return unto the Lord, Yahweh Wa Yahushai, before all hell breaks loose upon society, upon the world. But with that being said, Ka'ala Malak Yahweh Wa Yahushai Ba Hashem Rahakwadash, and double honors to the elders of GMS Ruel, blessings unto those men, and blessings and salutations to the Akim out there in truth, pushing his word in all sincerity. With that being said, Shalom Israel, Barakatah.